Well, this is Besthorpe, and another beautiful sunset here at Besthorpe. But it's a beautiful sunset I didn't think I'd see because the forecast tonight is cloudy. I have a feeling the forecasters might be wrong. Well, I'm back in the car park here at Besthorpe. As you can see, we're close to being fully dark. One of the nice things is that I had a barn owl fly past me about 15 yards away, flown up the fence line. And a nice backdrop again of the trees silhouetted against an absolutely beautiful sky. Well, I'm expecting, to be honest, a very quiet night, or evening, shall I say, a couple of hours at least. I'll be trapping for. It depends what comes in. And there is a surprise that's already come in actually. There's two moths that are in. The first is a dark chestnut, very similar, as I've pointed out before, to chestnut, but as the name would imply, much darker than your average chestnut. But it's the corners of the forewings which are much sharper, which helps you to determine worn dark chestnuts from the ordinary chestnut. So nice to see one of those in. But a surprise that I didn't consider was the chap that's in here. It's a rusty dot pearl, Udea ferrogalis. What's so special about that, do you all shout out? Well, this is a migrant. If I remember right, I caught two of these when trapped here, well, a good few weeks ago. I can't remember when it was. I know I've not trapped at Besthorpe in November before. So nice to get a migrant in November. And this is a much larger individual than either of the two that I caught the last time I was here. So nice to get a migrant in the form of Udea ferrogalis. Be interesting to see what will turn up now. A cup of tea, that's what's going to turn up. Well, it's still early days, but we've got a nice temperature of 13 centigrade, and there's one or two moths starting to flutter in, including two of these beauties. I am joking, of course, because if ever there's a plain moth, then winter moth is certainly right up there amongst them. Come later in the month and during December and early January, these are quite prized for the moth catcher brave enough to run his trap during the winter months, and any winter moth that you get then is very much a bonus. It's no surprise to get one here. They like all kinds of habitats, but especially hedgerows, and there's lots of decent hedgerows around here. So two winter moths already in at the light, and a nice little selection. Well, I'm going to go through the list of what's come in a minute, because it's been unbelievably busy. Not masses of moths, but I'm now on 15 species, and we're not even into the end of the first hour yet. But one of the big surprises is this, and this is a dark arches. They're well done by now, so this is just one of a partial second brood. Very surprising to get this. Well, 1750 is the time, and as I've just mentioned, got 15 species. I can't believe that. I thought we'd struggle to get 10. In fact, I didn't think we'd get 10 because I thought the temperature will drop as the sky is trying to clear. But at the moment, it's still 12 centigrade. And say we're 50 minutes in, and I'll just go through the species. You've just seen the dark arches, which is a real surprise, but there's two large wainscots in. There's a second dark chestnut just drops in too. Singles of red line Quaker and yellow line Quaker. There's a barred sallow which is quite late for this year. I thought they were long since done with now. Two white points continuing the migrant or colonizer front. Single November moth. There may well be more of those coming as we go through the session. And yeah, single chestnut, and still just the two winter moths. Of the something else just dropping in. I really think now that something unusual could drop in. But Eclaris variegana, that's a nice one. Usually a very well marked moth. That's the moth that I was looking for. And Blastobasis lacticolella. Now I went through the various Blastobasis species that we have in Nottinghamshire now, and surprisingly I've had 4 of Blastobasis adustella, so I'm thinking partial second brood of those. All in all, it's an amazing night. I nearly turned back at one point on the way here, but I'm glad I didn't. Very surprising. So pleased that I've come out. I'm going to show you something really special. This has got me tremendously excited, to be honest, because what I'm about to show you when I lift the pot off this moth is a second record for Nottinghamshire. The first one only came a few weeks ago from Martin Gray, a few miles away from here at his home in Broadholme. Broadholme is a tiny village right on the Nottinghamshire-Lincolnshire border, and it's Mussatima nitidalis. It's an adventive species originally from Australia, first recorded in the UK in 2009. Just look at that. What a stunning thing, and I'm showing it you now. Obviously it's coming home with me to photograph, but what a thing. When Martin posted the photo of his on a Facebook page a few weeks ago, I think everybody was stunned. Well, everybody that really ranks moths towards the top of their priorities. I certainly was. Never did I think I would be netting one as it flew around the light, and I nearly didn't go for it because I just thought it was one of the micros it was in. Boy, am I glad that I netted it, and now I need to safely pot it up. It's quieting down a little bit. It's been busy, not with lots of moths, but with a succession of moths coming in which needed to be identified as they flew around the light. Of course, I don't actually trap the moths. They're not encased in anything unless I'm taking them home to be photographed and released tomorrow or the next day, tomorrow morning in this case. But what a session it's been so far, and it looks like I will be staying longer than the allotted 2 hours. December moth has not long since come in. It's buzzing around somewhere, or it may have settled down on the other side of the light, so nice to see. Scarce bordered straw also, very worn and tatty specimen, but still a scarce bordered straw is a scarce bordered straw, always nice to get. Plutella xylostella as well, so at least 3 species of migrants on the list in the book here tonight with white point too. But an interesting micro which has come in is Calabites fascii panella. That's a nice little name to conjure with. I might have even left out a couple of letters in that. But it's a very interesting moth. Has 2 colour forms. One is an absolute stonker of a thing, but I've not caught that one. I've caught the other one, which has like a pale streak across the back when the wings are folded up. So it's been a fabulous session. Never would have dreamt it. 6th of November, 21 species, and I'm not in woodland. I nearly went to woodland this evening. I nearly did, but I'm glad I didn't. Well, a 3rd December moth has just come in, disappeared somewhere, but they tend to buzz around the sheet and the light for quite a while before eventually settling down. They are a beautiful moth, but members of the Lassiacampidae are very well built moths. Really hairy, almost silky looking thorax with those hairs, and dark, almost black wings, just some lighter markings on. And the front of that thorax, at the back of the head there, the hairs are pale. It's a lovely thing, and a moth we'll be seeing a fair bit of in the next couple of weeks, providing we get some nights with a decent enough temperature. Well, I'm gonna call it a night. Might seem strange, but the main reason is for what's in the sky behind me. This full moon is rising, the sky is generally quite clear, and the temperature has now gone down to 10 centigrade. And I've had 2 fantastic hours, but it really is starting to drop now. The dew is starting to form, and I don't think that many more moths are going to come in, especially with the interference of the so-called super moon. So it's a steady pack up, just see if anything else just comes in, and then we'll head for home.